All right.
Lost her. He brought her, but then he lost her.
I wish I would sit up close.
Your closest one would be.
I know, I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about those people on the back row. See, I would only put 2 rows of chairs out of it. I don't think I need this. Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. It is 9:03 by my watch. Good morning, everyone. This is the October monthly meeting, and we're calling it to order. I have lots of paper and stuff, so, you have me right now because Wendy resigned. Most of you know that, September the 25th. I'm gonna ask y'all in the back not to talk while somebody else is talking. Thank you so much. I'm an old school teacher. So we're, gonna have an invocation. Who would like to pray? Is that me?
I can do the invitation.
Thank you, John.
Lord, we want to thank you today for allowing us to come together here for this beautiful weather. Thank you for the area that we have, the peace that we have. Help us to work together as a community to make our community stronger and better. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. And now we need to pledge to the flag.
That's what I'm saying.
It is too early for you.
Yeah.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. I'm here. We don't have a president. Secretary, here. Treasurer, Parks. Public Works, Building and Grounds.
Here.
Conservation.
Here.
And I believe that's everybody, so we do have a quorum. We need to, read the September minutes and, approve them. And who took those, Ann? Yeah, okay.
I always told my children, I should have been born an octopus. Mom should be an octopus for, a few years.
You're gonna need this, I don't know. We're trying to make it so that the people on the recording can hear.
I understand. Alright, our meeting last month was held on September 13th, 2025. It was called to order at 9:01 a.m. by the President, Wendy Martin. Benediction was provided by Bill Robbins, and it was followed by the pledge to the flag. In attendance, Wendy Martin, Kathy Grimes, Roxanna White, Bill Piles, Sam, Lynn, legal, secretary, and building control were all vacant. We did have a quorum. Due to a family wedding, Wendy needed to leave early, so the order of the meeting was altered. She began the meeting with her report. She listed the accomplishments of our community during her time in office to date. These included 40 trees taken down or trimmed as prescribed by the Department of Forestry during the on-site inspection with that department, Sam and herself. This occurred due to the hazards posed or the condition of the trees. Concrete areas were created or replaced at the clubhouse and gatehouse areas. Windows in the clubhouse were replaced. Old window treatments were removed and new ones were installed. New clubhouse chairs were purchased as well as chair cushions. The clubhouse received new paint, both on the exterior and the interior, new lighting, new fans, new artwork on the walls, and a new outdoor bench. The office gatehouse breezeway received a new hand-painted mural. New plans, planter boxes were installed at the office entrance. The playground equipment was sandblasted and painted. New swings were installed. A new outdoor shower head and new faucets were installed in the park. New signs were installed around the area. We got a new water safety, got an invitation to grab a beach sand rake and clear the sand and debris. She applauded Christopher. If you don't know him, he's Becky Ellsworth's grandson, and he has been cleaning the beach, clearing the dead catfish, and the park trash removal. A new gate was installed up here along the entrance to the clubhouse. Slag was laid on all the roads. A new shed was installed. The pier was repaired. Replacement of a lawnmower. Our volunteers will also mow, and this cuts down on the cost of contracted lawn maintenance. Repairs to a lot of equipment had to be done. She commented on the vitriol regarding the amount of money spent. She acknowledged that $140,000 was spent, but believes that this was not a bad price for all that was done. She stated there is still over $100,000 in the bank and we are not financially broken. Traditionally, the goal was to keep around $80,000 in the reserve account. Addressing the newly installed gate, she stated her plan was to have a maintenance entrance gate to the barn and a lovely landscape entrance gate with a sign directing guests to the clubhouse. Does not want guests to get lost trying to find the clubhouse. The gate can be upgraded to having a solar-powered entry system. She stated the position of the gate will not require more trees to be removed for that new roadway that she plans to install. Her future plans include landscaping around the clubhouse with trees and a perennial garden in her next phase. Wendy then applauded the volunteer help. James, who helps Bill and Sam all the time, Melissa Larson, who has worked tirelessly in the office handling our finances, including AMAs, during the time period that we had no treasurer. She advised that Melissa will now be stepping down from that position. She included Colleen and Dana Nicholas, who have now accepted the job of the community newsletter, and Susan, who has created the mural and other artistic paintings on the office gatehouse windows. And also, if you go down the hall here in the clubhouse, you'll see another one of her paintings along the upper border of that wall. Let's see. Moving on, she addressed the anonymous complaint letter received by some. Wendy then listed some items that were not done, and she stated 3 bids were not solicited on tree work or concrete work, as she feels having confidence with the concrete's work quality is of primary importance. She states that Bill Vaughn, who replaced the clubhouse windows, was available within the limited time frame that we had to get things done before the busy rental season. He did not provide an actual quote. He did agree to repair the battens in the PVC in front of the building within our allotted time frame. She's familiar with his work and comfortable with his reputation. She stated we had no treasurer in the fall, so she did sign checks by herself, but stated that Roxanna was aware of this in an unofficial capacity. She stated that votes may have been done during Wednesday meetings, will now going forward be done at the Saturday meetings. She stated that membership cards are prescribed in the governing documents, but were not printed as we are now using the FOB system. She invited and one will be printed upon request. Wendy stated that Roxana will meet her newly established finance committee. She then admitted that she felt targeted by some people, and she stated she donated 18 months of her time to this community. Facebook posts were derogatory, and she questioned, where do people get such misinformation? She expressed her feelings, and she expressed her feelings that leaned towards stepping down from the board. The attending membership responses included how professionally the projects were done, compliments on the enhancements, acknowledgement of the shortage of venues available, that the investment in the clubhouse is great, and appreciation of Wendy's accomplishments, even if not done according to the governing documents. It was also mentioned that the community wanted more transparency, honesty, and truth in the immediate future. Wendy was urged not to quit and was encouraged to stay on her board position. Another attendee stated he applauds the work, that Wendy is a go-getter and gets things done, but also reiterated that the bylaws need followed. Wendy continued the discussion, saying that contrary to a complaint, the value of our real estate is not falling. Wendy introduced Michelle Burgess, who has volunteered to step into the secretary position from which Donna Pitt had previously resigned. Michelle will serve until April. That is when Donna's term will expire. We had a motion in September, number 1, to appoint Michelle Burgess as secretary, moved by Bill, seconded by Wendy. The unanimous vote to appoint Michelle is recorded by these minutes. Discussion was introduced on the CD that we currently hold. The interest made was roughly $2,000. Some suggestions on what to do with the CD included moving $25,000 into a new CD and depositing $25,000 plus the interest into an operating fund, or deposit it all into a reserve account. It is noted that more interest is earned on the CD than on the reserve account. September, motion 2, we transfer $25,000 plus interest into the reserve account and create a new $25,000. It was moved by Roxana, seconded by Wendy. Unanimous vote was taken and the motion was carried. Wendy then excused herself from the meeting to attend the family wedding. Kathy led the remainder of the meeting. It was at this point in the meeting, Kathy read minutes from July 12, 2025 that had only been summarized in the meeting last month because they had not been transcribed on the paper. September, motion 3, to accept the minutes as read from July. Sam made the motion, seconded by Lynn, all in favor, and the motion carried. Lynn then read the minutes from August 9th, 2025. The correction to the minutes requested by Becky Gapel in the August minutes regarding the flooding of her yard is now made to state, due to concrete work at the clubhouse, the placement of the excavated dirt may have been the cause of the flooding, and Bill was to inspect that area. September, motion number 4, Kathy moved to approve the minutes, Sam seconded, all in favor, and the minutes were approved. I'm almost done. It was a big meeting. All right, Vice President report. Kathy reported there's a large group of members that attended last Wednesday evening's member meeting. She reminded us that these Wednesday meetings are open to the membership. She stated the meeting was a good meeting. Discussion included procedures that were not followed on some expenditures, concerns held by both board members and property owners, and the lessons learned by the board's errors. By the end of the meeting, it appeared that everyone was unified in the goal to move forward, follow the bylaws, and be as transparent as we possibly can. She advised that her new long-range planning committee members, Doug Ford, Leslie Jewell, Karen Jones, Roxana White. Approval of the members was voted on. These members are in good standing and are approved. Kathy then advised some long-time road damages have been repaired by the county. She reported on some properties that have been in disrepair. Regarding the petition to the county on the fire damaged property, she is still awaiting word from the county commissioner. She stated she's been in contact with Robert Daniels from the county planning and inspection department. She gave him the property on Micmac, which includes 2 mobile homes and a camper that need to be cleared of overgrown vegetation and trash. She explained that the county procedure is similar to ours. They send out 2 letters giving the owner time to respond. A meeting is scheduled if no response. Lastly, if no response, they send a contractor to bid on the cleanup and then invoice the property owner. Kathy has 2 quotes in the neighborhood of $2,000 to clean up that particular property. Another property given to the county for action is one on Monroe and Comanche, which although the trash has been removed, there is still a junk car on the property. Mr. Daniels did not think he could do anything with that one. Another property is on Oneida Trail with an old Red Cross blood bus on site with the son of the owner living in the bus. Mr. Daniels may move forward with that one. Lastly, we have a property off Mojave by the Purple House where people are living with a generator as they have no electricity. Mark D'Onofrio mentioned there seems to be young adults living in a camper off Shoshone. Kathy has placed that one on her radar. Carol asked about clearing a vacant lot beside her with overgrowing vegetation by her garage. Kathy advised that the lot has never been cleared by the owner. They are not obligated to do so. She suggested that Carol try speaking to the owner in a neighborly outreach fashion. Wanda mentioned the long-term water leak at the end of Crow Trail and her concern on bacteria and possibility that the road could be compromised. Multiple calls were made to the water department with unsatisfactory responses. Mark advised the county supervisor and manager, both are aware of the situation. The manager personally inspected that area. Mark followed up with emails. There's been no county action. He advised that DOT was also contacted. Bill Hiles mentioned he called 12 days ago to notify them of more leaks in that area. A suggestion was made to call the environmental department and to use a television investigative reporter. Kathy then called for the treasury report. Roxana advised we so far received $91,508.27 in AMAs, making a total of 83% compliance in payments. She explained her financial handout. We are $78,074.09 in arrears. She will be sending letters to those property owners. Letters and legal action is planned on the vacant lot owners. These lots may be sold at auction if past payments are not remedied. Operating account, $28,745.71. In the reserve account, $65,911.78. In the CD account, $51,280.71. Credit card pending, $755.24. Roxana stated she's the chair of the finance committee that will work on the budget and the audit. Her committee members up for approval: Nancy Haig, Bill Ruger, Lisa Ruger, John Lillard, Mark D'Onofrio, Karen Gone, Carol Beatty, and Leslie Jewell. September motion number 5. Kathy moved to approve these members. Sam seconded. These members were approved in a unanimous vote, and the motion carried. There was no secretary report. Legal report was provided in Kathy's vice president report. Parks and Recs. Lynn advised the clubhouse ice machine was dismantled and thoroughly cleaned on Tuesday as a maintenance department. Cleaning contract bids for the clubhouse and park bathhouses will be requested. Fall Festival is scheduled for October 25th from 1 to 3, and she would appreciate anyone that can offer assistance reach out to her. She reminded us of the planned activities, including hay rides, live music, crafts, drinks, and snacks are provided. She's introducing a new game this year called Granny Pans and gave a brief demonstration of the game. She needs 2 willing participants to be the team grannies. And grannies can be grandmas or grandpas. They're just grannies. There will be a cakewalk, which has become an annual favorite, and donations of baked goods are requested. Many new additions to the festival. We have a face painter, a balloon sculpturist, a magic expressed interest in a funhouse for Halloween, and a response is awaited on that endeavor. Halloween is October 31st. Instead of house-to-house trick-or-treating, we will have trunk or treat. I asked for community feedback to enable arranging a time and place that is best for this event. Some activities are on hold as we await word when the flooring contractor will return to fix the floor where some of the materials have not adhered properly in the clubhouse. Potluck dinners are on hold due to a possible epoxy odor from floor work. She asked for questions or comments, and Becky Gable states she lives next door, states that in the anonymous complaint letter, it was mentioned about clubhouse rentals being used more for non-members than members of the community. She said she has seen many clubhouse parties in the 20 years and only complained twice regarding dogs on site tied up in the hot sun. She approves of the rentals as a source of income for the community. Lynn thanked her for the feedback and advised that in her tally of clubhouse rentals, there have been 22 member rentals, 10 associate member rentals, only 5 non-member rentals. Non-member rentals, generally churches, Bible study groups, high school reunions, and the like. Most of them have spent summers here in their lifetime and have a history with the community. Lynn requested additional feedback as perhaps the next director of Parks and Recs would be stronger in vetting renters. Ecology. Sam announced September 20th will be the next community cleanup in correlation with North Carolina's cleanup, which runs September 13th to the 27th. Volunteers are to meet at the office gatehouse area at 9 a.m. He announced his plan for tree replenishment next year. He would like to get a landscape designer to make design suggestions, maybe placements of bedding areas, a water feature, to present to the community to decide what we want to accomplish. His idea is to avoid any conflict with presenting only a solitary plan. He would like several plans to present to the community for discussion on improvements over the next few years. Building control and public works. Bill stated he and James got new front tires for the mower. There were leaking valves in the Park Lady showers, so we had a couple new valves replaced in these showers. These new valves are upgraded, so now we can repair leaks ourselves instead of calling in a plumber. He had a shut-off installed on the outdoor faucet at the office area. He will shut off the water probably at the end of October, maybe November, when it starts getting cold outside, and he will do the winterizing. He described the cleaning process on the ice machine and mentioned his intention of getting some descaler to avoid calcium buildup. He advised on the expected work along the road soon to be done by Green Goblin. He has solicited bids for lawn services from 3 lawn companies. He thanked Jackie as she has added his request for bids on the Arrowhead Beach webpage. He described the 4 to 5 hours it takes for the multiple mowings that he and Sam have done, as well as the time that James spends weed whacking. These men put in 95 volunteer hours for the month of August. A complaint about a large mattress on the roadside was brought up, and Sam advised he will find the address of that location, complete the form required by the state for pickup. Bill mentioned that some brush has been sprayed with weed killer where the new 5 lines are being installed, and there's a lot of dead foliage there. He also mentioned that he tried to lift that wet mattress with the Kubota, but it was too heavy. Arrowhead web page. Jackie reports that from August 11th through September 5th, there were 297 website visits. Of those, 189 were new visitors, 108 were return visits. Office report. Leslie advised the office personnel would like to close the office for the entire week of Thanksgiving and all of December to enjoy time with their families. Office hours would resume the first Tuesday in January. They will schedule weekly office visits to get the phone messages that need responses and assist with clubhouse rentals. Lynn advised she would review the bylaws for compliance on office requirements. Old business, none. New business, Sam suggested we purchase our own recording equipment for these meetings, hopefully something more professional. addressed sufficiently. It was noted that those with complaints were apparently not in this meeting, and the attendees felt the issues have been addressed. And if another letter is received, it can be addressed at that time. Lynn stated a resident requested she make the announcement that residents want to have their voices be heard. Lynn stated she believes the entire board is in agreement. She stated, however, that instead of waiting until an issue becomes disgruntled, that voice be heard as the issue arises. Bill advised that the flooring contractor will come in the winter to replace the affected floor section and request an entire week to do this work. There will be no cost to us. Kathy brought up the issue of speeding in our community that John had advised he wanted to discuss. She had thought speed bumps might be the solution, but different reasons why that was not feasible did come up. Problems are not only residents, but also delivery trucks and school buses. Bill Robbins suggested we have the police with radar come more often and actually write tickets. Jackie responded on the meeting reporting equipment. She said whether it's old or new equipment, it still needs uploaded to YouTube first before we can post it on the website. Bill Ruger advised we might consider purchasing our own radar device. He knows some of them are sold online. He stated these devices only gather data such as speeds, times, and the like, no cameras. Kathy added this to long-range planning. Bill described the European system of 2 cameras that can capture images of license plates and drivers, and tickets are then sent to the attendees in the mail. Kathy then advised we would need a nominating committee in preparation for the next term. Karen, Wanda, Helga, Leslie, and Jackie were unanimously approved to serve, and other members can be added. No report from Neighborhood Watch, no report from the newsletter, no new residents were reported joining the community. Property owner concerns. Karen reminds us we are an eclectic community with various income levels. We need to be mindful that not everyone may live as comfortably as others. She's hopeful that being considerate of that will encourage more people to speak up and participate. Kathy stated we need to get the word out. The board is willing to speak with anyone that has a concern. She agreed we need to be good neighbors and look out for one another. She ended the discussion by stating we should pledge to do our part, to be the best that we can be. We should not be divided. We all live in this small, beautiful community. We need to set good examples for each other. She thanked the attendees for their support and kind words. Bill Robbins gave the benediction. The adjournment was 11:27 a.m. It was respectfully submitted by Lynn McCleary. Thank you.
Is there any discussion or changes to the minutes?
I have a
Yes.
question. Did we not have a treasurer in the fall?
I'm sorry?
Did we not have a treasurer in the fall? I thought we had a treasurer.
I started, December of 2024.
Correct. So we've had a treasurer all of 2025. Okay. I just wanted to clarify because the president's speech in there said that we didn't have a treasurer in the fall.
Oh, it was December of 24.
That was last
This is
year.
the fall.
Right, but that's last year. Okay.
We were talking fall of last year.
Okay. They were talking about expenses for this year, so.
To
Okay.
be honest, John, I need paper. My memory cells don't do that kind of data control, so.
I'm not sure what length of time between Mark and Roxana there was. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Right, I just wanted to confirm we've had a treasurer this entire year.
Correct.
Right, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Any other questions, additions, corrections to those minutes? Okay.
Make a motion that we approve.
Want something in there?
Can I get a second? All in favor? And the minutes are, approved. Okay, it's time to move to reports, and we have, lots of, people to hear from today. We don't have a president's report. I am not the president. I want to remind people of that. I'm the vice president acting, in this role until April, when we juggle all the positions so, you know, I don't know them by heart. So if y'all, see that we're not doing something we're supposed to do, please, bring that to our attention. So many of those kind of big things have been met, so, one of the things we decided as a group is that one of our main long-range plans is to keep this association alive. You know, we can talk about whatever we wanna do in the park and this and that, but unless we keep this association active, we don't need a long-range plan. That's the long-range plan. So, that was sort of, what we started with as an overall goal. So we are going to meet again today, this afternoon, and I would like the committee to know we're gonna have it here. We don't have any, do we have any, events here this afternoon?
I was just cleaning for tomorrow's round.
Oh, well, can't we just stay up here and clean up after ourselves? I promise we will.
What time do you need it?
3. We will leave it just as we found it.
I'm the one who's running tomorrow, and I don't care if they're here, cause I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'll yell at them if they do anything bad.
Okay. So we'll meet here at, 3 o'clock today to pick up where we left off and try to get a little bit more, specific.
What is this meeting for?
Long-range planning.
Okay.
And,
This was we,
yeah,
okay, making sure I understood.
yeah, and, during a budget discussion, and Roxanne will go a little bit over that, you know, we are in budget discussions for next year, and things have been moved onto the long-range planning committee from the finance committee. So those are being added to our list as we do this work. Any questions about that? Just an update, all but one of the water leaks in the neighborhood have been repaired. There's still one over on, is it Blackfoot? A little one there on Blackfoot that's got yellow markers around it. And when the guy was here, I said, you know, there's another one over there. Are y'all planning to go over on Blackfoot? And he said, no. So I don't know why you wouldn't go when you're in the neighborhood. I don't understand how people work. But anyway, so that's, we haven't forgotten about that one. We don't have a legal chairperson, but I understand that there, is a group that is going to convene, I hope, to do some preliminary work on some revisions and work on the,
Not without a legal chair,
Huh?
not without a legal director.
okay,
Okay, I'm just saying, you have to have a legal director.
correct.
Question, John, is there something that holds us back from having a preliminary group work on some of these things?
You can have a group, but it's not an official committee because the
That's
committee
exactly
falls
right.
under
So
the.
it's not official, but there would still be
Yeah,
some
they
work
can-
that
they
would
can
be
discuss
presented
things,
to a.
That's kind of what I was inferring. I knew that we didn't have a legal person, but Lynn and I, we had talked some at Wednesday night's meeting about there's an interest in, you know, I think if we could do some preliminary work, it might help us be able to recruit a legal person. Does that make sense? I mean,
So, and just to comment, Kathy, I noticed back here that it's got the RCs and the bylaws. The RCs fall under building control. So you have to have a building control director and committee. That, by the way, is a required committee, okay? So we
say
have to
that
have.
again? That's a what kind?
The RCs fall under building control. The building control committee, by the restrictive covenants and the bylaws, is a required committee. It must stand all the time, okay? That's, the only 2 committees that are required are the nominating committee and the building control committee, because nothing can be done for the restrictive covenants without the building control committee. Okay, just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, that's what I need in here. We don't have a building control committee. Okay, I don't know, do we call your group the building control committee? No,
I don't think they're not
I know they haven't met.
formally designated as a group, but we could
We
make
call it
that
your
be
committee.
Well, there's some bodies that
Just
go on the
volunteer to
committee, is
take
what
care
you're
of the
saying.
community.
That's something that we will, discuss as a board, getting a building control committee. Is that?
Of a committee?
control anyway.
Right.
That's, you have the building control that's elected,
Yeah,
and then you appointed the, other two members.
so who's building control?
You have to have a
You
director.
don't have a director.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So you,
You don't have the other two people committed.
What's building control do?
restrictive covenants enforcement and permits. So
Bill's
all
been doing
those,
the permit arm, he's been doing the permit arm of that, I've been
You
Uh,
you write
doing
down
some of the
properties.
property stuff, so I mean, we've been kind of hopping along, but we do not have a person there. Any volunteers? Don't laugh,
so a recommendation,
please.
just a recommendation, and you can do it now, or you can wait until the board gets reelected. The positions that must be filled need to be filled, okay? So when people go, I don't wanna be building control, if you're on the board, somebody
Somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to fill building control, somebody needs to fill the roles that are required to be filled, need to be filled. And if people don't wanna do those, then maybe you go, we gotta get different board members, because that's part of the problem that the board has and always has, that nobody wants to do this, nobody wants to do that, and you end up with roles.
Yeah. Well, let me just throw this out here, I know this isn't on, see, it is on topic. You know, one of our concerns with keeping this association alive is having people to serve. And the board has such a ragged reputation, people don't wanna serve. And so, what I've been trying to do, and what I would charge you all to do, because we all know different people. I have an next door neighbor who is great, he's smart, he's, level-headed, he knows how to build things, he knows a lot about building and all that, and he's always accosting me, what are y'all doing about this, what are y'all doing about that? And I'll say, well, we're trying, and, so I asked him the other day, I said, would you consider helping us on the board? What would I have to do? I said, go read the stuff on the internet, and I'm gonna get back with you. So he's considering it, and so we say, oh, nobody wants to serve, but we gotta ask people. I mean, it's sort of like this young lady, you know, she's been kind of in the background, but until someone asked her, you know, she just, I don't think I wanna do that, but, so please, think about that, y'all, when we're trying to help Leslie come up with a slate of officers, people who are level-headed, they don't have to know these rules, but they can read and help us, enforce them and work. So, it's not that nobody wants to serve, I think it's that we haven't asked the right people. We got a lot of smart people in our neighborhood. Yeah, Don?
They have per se a job description of what these,
Yes, the job description for the roles is in the bylaws. And those are posted on the website, and they're available to everybody. So I would love for you
Don?
to read them and see what job you would like. She's retired, she's not gonna do it anymore, but you're fresh meat, so. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting off topic, we'll never get out of here if I don't stay on topic.
No, while we're on the subject of volunteers, right now the board is down to 3 members, we only got 6 out of 9, and 3 of us positions are up come May.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other people decide to stay or not, but if nobody volunteers, I will stay to keep the board alive. But we need some
Yeah.
people.
And young people, you have to understand, I mean, I'm at the age, I can't do the physical work that I've done in here before, and that's what we need, is just some younger people.
I'm turning 79 this month.
I think one of the problems you guys have, and I'm gonna speak from having been on the opposite side of the frustration sometimes, but, having gotten more involved in paying more attention and talking to people in reasonable manners, I think part of our problem is our Facebook site. So let me make a suggestion. Yes, thank you. My word's not coming to me. I haven't had my coffee yet, sorry. And I'm sorry I was late, guys. Thankfully, Becky reminded me. But I think that what we've got to do is we have to, and I understand there's freedom of speech. You know, God knows we are in a society right now that is foremost. But I think that as board members and as people who are supporting the board, we have got to stop responding to anything that has gotten insane. And I think that if it gets a little bit insane, that it needs to be something that's like, here's your warning, this needs to stop, or we're going to delete this post, or we're going to get rid of this post. And I understand that, because I think what happens is the people who want to come in here and volunteer, because I was one of them, and I am going to be more involved, as a promise, but the people that you want to recruit, these younger people that you want to get in here, that are showing up to our events, okay? Because Lynn has done an amazing job. We have way more people showing up. I come to every event now, and every time I'm like, wow, there's more people here. So I think that you have people who are scared of certain things, they see the animosity that's going on out there in that Facebook page, and I think we've got to control that somehow. And I know Michelle does an amazing job, because she and I have talked. There's been times I've posted things that like didn't work the way I thought they should, and I'd be like, where's my post? And instead of being nasty, she's like, oh, this is what's going on, and has taught me some things about Facebook that I thought this one knew. But anyways, we gotta control it.
Yeah.
Because if we have people out there, their only representation of the board, which is not really a representation, but is what's being, in their minds, represented in Shaw, is this insane back and forth, and, violent talk, and animosity, and you're never gonna get anybody in the doors here. Because I can tell you, it's helped me out. And I work a full-time job, but I work from home. I have very little time to spare between, my husband and I are always doing something to our property. I have wood being delivered right now from Lowe's, or keeping here too. So, my point being, and I get this is a delicate bridge to walk, but we have got to find a way to control that. And I think the number one thing is no board member ever responds to anything except with, come to the board meeting. You have a problem, come to the board meeting. You have an issue, come to the board meeting. If you want to address this, it will be addressed at the board meeting. And I think that way you don't give them fodder.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that has been, we'll get you, I talk a lot. One of the things that has really come back and forth a lot was the misappropriation of funds, right? Things got spent the way they should have gotten spent. So, I mean, we need to put something in place that says, hey, if you're gonna spend more than blank amount of dollars, it has to be approved, it has to be. But I don't think that, I'm the one putting out there about if I need to see how much you spend on paper clips, you should be able to find it. But that's how it's written now. But that doesn't mean that, I know we have like appropriate amount of money to keep things maintained, I know that. But I think that we need to have a dollar amount set where it's like, hey, if it's, I'm just gonna make up a number here, please do come from me. If you're gonna spend more than $5,000, it has to be approved by the board. It has to come before here, it has to be voted on. I know we have problems with votes. And I think at all these events that we do, we can start approaching people that you think, hey, I see you at the events. I know you look like a reasonable person. I see you've got children here. We've got more children coming in. We need to get these people involved.
Think about Parks and Rec, okay? Because Lynn's leaving, so I don't mean to cut you off, but we gotta.
I'm
hear you.
finishing up now. So
John?
my point being, we gotta control it. You really do. And you can't get out here and defend yourself, because all that does is give the person the scarlet pimpernel, whatever that is. And let me just say, I kind of see their point, because some of that brought a lot of things out, but still, we need to not have board members responding to animosity, because all that does is it turns into this.
Okay. We hear you, thank you, I agree.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
sir.
go one more step, because I'm in total agreement with everything that you said here. Since I've been back here, I have vehemently stated, when I was on the board, I was totally against it. There should be no Arrowhead Facebook page for board runs. I believe that. You're gonna have Arrowhead Facebook pages that everybody else pops up if you try to control yours, just shut it down. It's almost impossible
items that were mentioned, that you had mentioned, were items that we address in the RCs and the bylaws, not the 5-year strategic planning, so I was kind of confused.
It's just an informal way to hear from the community. It's not,
Well, so I would suggest maybe, just suggestions general, not ones that fall under your 5-year planning. That was the confusion that I had. Because you were talking about chickens, you talked about, dogs in the park and whatnot, and everything, and that's an RC issue that has to be, wouldn't it have to be changed in the RCs before you can address it? in
Yeah, and that's
the
why I
5-year
said,
plan?
these are not things that are guaranteed, these
Well,
specific, these are just wish list items. Anybody can put a wish list item on there, so.
But it would be in the RCs is where you would,
It would be,
that's where
yes.
you would put it, not in the 5-year plan.
Yes, but if I didn't put it on there, then people are gonna bring it up, they're gonna add it, and then they're gonna start arguing, which goes right back to what we had said already. Then
But
they're
the
gonna start arguing.
recommendation is put them on separate lists. Put RC recommendations on one list and long-range planning on a separate list.
most people don't know the difference.
Well, if they don't know the difference, then they shouldn't engage, because long-range planning is for capital improvements,
Yeah.
okay?
Most people
Yeah.
don't know.
You could always call it, instead of recommendations, you could always call it a wish list, like, that's.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
I
you know
use
what a
those
wish list
words,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, just a way to hear input from people, even though the
So that no one can
terminology.
say, no one asked, so they can be heard.
Yeah, that was. Okay. All right, Treasurer Roxana.
Please excuse me, I have a toothache and I will be going to the dentist in just a little bit, but I don't know if I need this or
Yeah,
not.
you do.
I mean, I don't have a big enough mouth yet. Okay.
Just so the people that watch the video can hear you, that's
That's
all.
fine.
We wanna make sure.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to begin my report by thanking the Finance Committee for their work on October 4th. We worked on the budget for 4 hours and we got a lot of good input from the committee. So I want to thank everyone that participated.
And of course, those that couldn't make it, we thought about you and but I'm going to go ahead and begin my report with the banking and the QuickBook balances. The CD, we do not currently have a CD, but we will be working on that on Friday. Kathy and I will be going to the bank. As far as the bank account, the checking account balance at the bank is $25,822.35. The reserve account at the bank is $118,153.71. Total charges on the credit card at the end of September is $283.56. QuickBook balances, 0 on the CD, checking account, $12,269.80. That's because checks were issued and haven't cleared the bank. Reserve amount is $118,153.71. I missed that one. Okay. Total gross income received as of the September 30th is $98,857.62. I think that's very good, because we were projecting $122,000. So, total expenditures is $82,253.35. Total interest that we have earned this year from the CD and from the reserve account is $2,099.84. That is also very good. Accounts receivables, this is money that is owed to the association in AMAs, $76,963.39. That has come down. We are working now on arrears. I have 2 of the members from the Finance Committee that are helping me with the arrears, and they have done a fantastic job on getting information on skip tracing. These are people that, their addresses, emails, phone numbers, they have gone on websites and gotten much more current information, and we'll be reaching out to them and trying to get payment. On the second
finance committee met on October 4th, and we're working on the budget for 26-27, which has been presented to the board at the Wednesday meeting. We are still working on it. We are still working on the details, and will be presented to you as quickly as possible. And we will be working on the arrears. The second page of the report for this month, we're talking about September. We don't get a lot of AMAs at that point, but I'm gonna go quickly through, and if I misspeak or like do this part, I'm sorry. So, as far as AMAs for September, we got $1,752.70. We got $100 from clubhouse renters from memberships. We got $600 from non-members for the clubhouse, a total of $700. There was a credit applied to a past due collection, $25. So the balance there of income for that month was $2,427.70. As far as expenditures, our expenditures for September are a little bit higher because we did pay the insurance, which came out to $11,849. So that's why expenditures are a little high, so, but for banking charges, we paid $42.19. The insurance, $11,849. Internet and phone service, $267.88. That's for administrative, that's $12,159.07. Janitorial cleaning for the clubhouse, $700. Groundskeeping for the mowing, $1,550. Pest control, $200. Repairs of equipment, $281.80. Utilities, $293.71. I'm sorry. Waste management, $209.99. So for public works, it's $2,535.50. There's a negative on the bank fees. I have to check on that. I don't know why there's a negative there. And income that we received from the reserve account for that month of interest was $142.09. So that is what transpired in the month of September. Does anyone have any, yes?
I'm gonna bring it up here. We brought it up in the finance committee, but just a note based on your report, clubhouse rentals make no money. And in fact, they can lose money. So I think that's something that the board needs to take a hard look at. It was a wash for this month, $700 and $700. So if you pay $700 to clean it, and you're renting it for $700, it's a wash. If you don't rent it as many times, you actually lose money on the clubhouse. So we either need to look at reducing the cost of the cleaning or increase the cost of the rentals substantially. The other question I've got is with the past president stepping down, has her credit card and her access to all accounts and access to QuickBooks been removed?
That's in the works. The fastest I can get the man to meet with me is Friday, so.
With the bank?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. What about for QuickBooks?
We're working on that.
Okay, and credit card?
Yeah, that's at the bank.
But can we collect the credit card from the past president?
I don't know where the credit
We
card
only
is.
have one credit card,
Okay.
and it's in the office.
Okay, so they don't have access to it?
No.
Okay.
No.
And the other question I've got, is have we removed anyone who's not a board member from access to the accounts and QuickBooks? There should be no one with access, edit access to QuickBooks or have access to the bank account that is not a board member.
There is no one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that it was reported that we had someone who was not a board member that had access to QuickBooks before. Correct?
She's no longer.
Okay, so she's been removed, okay.
Yes. Are there any other questions? No? I do want to thank you for your time, and I'm sorry I'm gonna head out to your bank too.
I'm sorry, there is one last comment, and I
Please.
just need to bring this up because it was brought up in the finance committee meeting. The finance committee meeting makes a strong recommendation to the board that no expenditures take place between now and the end of the fiscal year unless it is paying an existing bill or utility bill. There's not enough money in the account to probably even pay all the bills through the rest of the fiscal year without moving money from reserves. So the committee strongly recommends to the board that no discretionary spending take place.
I really appreciate your recommendation, and I think
We're aware of that.
Okay.
they are
Yeah.
aware of that, and we have discussed it, and we will be as frugal as possible
Okay.
with the funds to maybe not try, we're gonna try and hang on to what we have, so we don't have to transfer. If we do, it'll be a very nominal amount, but we're trying to get into the next, 5 months that we have left with what we have, but we're being very careful about what we spend. And also, the board is reported weekly, every single check that is
Yes.
created. They are informed of the balances. The transparency is very important, and I thank the board for their patience and support.
All the checks are double signed, so it's, I think we're right on track the way we should be. As far as the, reserve account, what we're going to do is what was voted on last month, on Friday, along with the other transactions, to have me as the, whatever I am, now, at the bank, to do the 50,000 and 50,000 plus whatever the interest is. So, just to try to make money on the money that we do currently have to the best we can, and, we're not gonna transfer money to the checking account because we don't wanna have it sit there and not making any money. So it'll be transferred as needed, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Also, I am working, we had a very long meeting on the 4th, it was 3 hours, and there was a lot discussed. I'm still finishing up the minutes. Once the minutes are finished, I will submit them to the board. I don't know, John, does the public see the minutes as well?
Which minutes?
The finance committee meeting.
There's no reason they can't. I mean, minutes for all meetings should be made available to,
Yeah.
unless it's a closed meeting held by the board. Yeah, they should be available to all members.
Do you guys have any questions before I leave? I'm
And we
sorry.
can put them on the website. I can
Yes.
send the PDF to, for long range planning, and y'all can send yours to Jacqueline, so they can make that, be made available that way.
Are we good?
Thank you. Get well, feel better.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not talking right.
All right, Parks and Rec for Lynn?
I did a little tiny, bulletin board type of thing here on the table, just to remind you all of different dates and times. Sometimes a visual is more, is more helpful.
Turn it on.
It's on.
Are we good? Okay. October 16th, next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. is our third Thursday ladies group. We'll meet again. Please consider bringing a snack to share, and it's BYOB, bring your own beverage. October 25th, Fall Festival, 1 to 3 p.m. Crafts, fingernail painting, face painting, balloon sculptures, magic show at 2 p.m., cakewalk, music, games, prizes. And as I mentioned last month, I'm going to try and introduce the Granny Pants game. This is a game where you have 2 teams. It's a relay race to see who can fill up Granny's big pants and with the beach balls. I do volunteer this year, so that might not be happening. In the event of rain or other bad weather, we will have a scaled down version inside the clubhouse. October 31st, Halloween event. I've been here, this is my 4th season as Parks and Recs. I've been requested to have a trunk or treat. We are having trunk or treat. It will be held at the Office Gatehouse parking area. All vehicles may participate. You can have a car, you can have a truck, I don't care if you do your golf cart, any vehicle. Car decorations are definitely encouraged. I do understand that many families enjoy trick-or-treating downtown, or they do other scheduled activities locally. So we're going to overlap, and hopefully that will get more people included and also allow for the time of the other activities out there locally. We will start at 4:30 until 5:30. If we happen to have additional people still in the parking lot, trick-or-treaters, I'm talking about, at 5:30, hopefully our trunk or treat vehicles will wait until everyone has been served. In the event of rain or other bad weather, trunk or treat will be canceled. Sign-up sheets are in the table in the back of the room for both of these events. I still need help on the festival. And I'd like to appreciate a vehicle count on a trunk or treat. It's not a commitment, it doesn't mean you have to be there, but if you think you might like to do it, at least give me an idea, so that I can arrange somewhat, where to park, how we're gonna set it up. Potluck dinners, this is on a month-to-month hold. I'm awaiting word on when the clubhouse floor repair is scheduled. I really don't want us to be surprised with the odor of epoxy overtaking the aroma of our home cooked meals, so that's my philosophy there. However, it's my understanding that the floor repair is not scheduled in November. We will have a potluck dinner in November, and that date is the same Saturday as our monthly meeting. I think it's November 8th. I forgot to look. But I believe it's November 8th. It starts at 6 p.m. And it's kind of like a nice way to start our holiday season. Just get together for a meal and some time together. Sports equipment. I would ask that anyone using our APO sports equipment, please return the equipment to the equipment box. And please do not dump the hoops when you're playing basketball. We really want the equipment to last a long, long time for everyone's enjoyment. Just a reminder, once the park restrooms are closed, you still have your fobs to gain access to the park. You just can't use the bathrooms. Please leave the park no later than directly after sundown for safety reasons. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
The, hayride, are you providing the hay?
Yes, I
And
think we
is,
still have that.
I'm working on it, and, is it gonna be pulled with a tractor, or would you pull it with, like, how are you gonna pull it?
Are you asking, are we providing a tractor?
Yeah,
I would not provide a tractor unless it was driven by someone on the board, because I would not want us to be responsible for that. I'm really looking for a vehicle and a trailer.
So we don't have a trailer that somebody could pull?
The last I knew, our trailer was not,
Safe?
large enough and safe enough to use. We've always used Garris's trailer, and Marshall was our driver.
Okay.
So is Garris, have we approached Garris?
We have a trailer, that old one out there, but the wood on it's so bad.
Yeah, we used it before, but the wood was starting to get bad on it, so yeah.
well, if I can provide like a 16-foot trailer, I may be able to do that. So I'm working on that right this second, but if, I'm not comfortable like pulling it with a truck or a hayride. I feel like it needs to be a tractor, and I may actually,
I'm not a tractor driver.
I may be able to get the tractor thing going too.
Thank you for checking out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I may be able to use a tractor too, but I'm gonna have to ask about that also, but I'll see what I
Oh,
can
we
do.
have a tractor? Thank you.
Huh?
We have a tractor?
Yeah, we got a John Deere in there, we got the
Well, why are we asking, to?
I mean, if one of them wants to, if you're not the whole driver situation, like my husband can drive a tractor.
Personally, I don't care if somebody sends us association out here. The equipment belongs to association, it doesn't belong to Park and Recs, doesn't belong to ecology, so.
So we could pull
if
it with our
somebody
tractor.
wants-
Okay, because I was gonna think you do a hayride with a truck. So, let me see what I can do about your hayride.
The Kubota drives just like the regular lawnmowers, it's got the two pedals on it.
We don't have a tractor before for the. We don't have a trailer that's on the road.
Usually Marshall drives, whose tractor does he drive?
I have never
No.
done one.
He was driving one of these.
Ours, oh, okay.
Or
All right,
well,
you
it's
said I
like
need it.
John Deere, it don't matter.
Okay, all right, Bill, I think you're up next. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. I don't have much. The mattress that was over on this Cayuga was sitting over in the right of way. The first time I went over, I couldn't pick it up, it was so wet with water. I went back there 3 weeks ago and most of the water was out, so I managed to get it. We put it in a dumpster, it's gone.
Yes.
Green Goblin's last mowing was in September, so anytime you see any mowing going around, Public Works has done it. So we just mowed the park here and outside on Thursday. The streets have a lot of pine needles on them, so if you see the Kubota or the zero turn out there, that's us doing the streets. We're not paying anybody. So we've got Public Works to maintain everything from now until next year. So we're doing that. If it's not too, if it doesn't get real freezing cold, I will leave the gatehouse bathrooms open until it gets cold. I just have this date, the end of October, just to throw out there because some years it's cold then, some years it's not. So if it's still warm in November, they'll stay open until it starts to freeze. We don't want the water in the commodes and the lines to freeze up because that's a big expense because they're all down in concrete. The floor over on this side, Tom is scheduled to come in January and take all of that up and completely redo it at his expense. It's under warranty. So that, and if it still doesn't work after he does it, he'll be doing it until it does. If he didn't put the right stuff down, that's on him, not us. So there's no expense to that. So,
So let me interrupt. He's coming in January so we can have potlucks. Is
Sure.
that correct?
that's
Okay.
true. He's not coming until January.
Okay.
And once it's down, that shouldn't smell for 3, 4, 5 months like the whole building does. So February, March, we'll let it air out with some windows open as long as it's not raining, and we'll keep the heat down so we don't pay a lot of propane. I just have the propane tanks filled up. They should be good until December, January. I thought we had a big tank over there. The tank on that side is a 250-gallon tank that runs the kitchen and the heater. So it was down to 20%. This one was still on 40%, and it only runs that. So they're full, so they should last quite a while. It was about $300 some dollars for propane. It was $1.99 a gallon. That one took 115, and this one took 54. I've got plenty enough diesel to last me until July. That 100-gallon tank lasts the Kubota and the John Deere for 8 or 9 months.
You got propane for $1.99 a gallon?
That's what that was.
Wow.
That's what was on the ticket from Jurgen.
Good deal.
Well, if we prepay propane, they want like $3 a gallon for it. And the lady said, you know, propane's cheap right now. I said, let's just go for fill-up. As long as it's less than what you're going to charge us. So we're trying to watch some pennies here because I know we're down to nothing. The only thing that I need for Public Works is we'll use the Kubota more because I got plenty of diesel. It don't use as much. That zero turn, if I mow this side of the thing, it uses 6 gallons to do that. And I've only got a 14-gallon tank out there. So the park I use the zero turn, it used half a tank on Thursday. So the rest we run the Kubota around. It's got a 60-inch mower on it, and it'll knock the pine needles and the leaves back off onto the lots that don't have any houses on them. And if you got a yard, I try not to go there and blow leaves on your yard because most people are mowing out the streets anyway. So I don't wanna blow a bunch of leaves on the street. If there's a vacant lot on the other side, I just go back and forth and blow them over there. That keeps them off your property. But, we'll be trying to keep the place looking halfway decent between now and May. That way, the next mowing company that comes in doesn't have to try to figure out what they're gonna do with anything. Our burn heap over there in the lot across the way. If you've got some small stuff, don't bring great big tree limbs, but if you got some clippings in your yard or whatnot, and I know a lot of people don't have pickup trucks, and you can dump them over on our burn pile over there. Me and James go over there when it's cool or after a rain, and we take and burn that. So leaves, they'll smolder forever, but trimmings, that's there. We figured people might as well use it. We already made it and got a burn heap there, so if you got some small stuff, you can put it over there. Don't have much else. Anybody have anything they wanna ask me about?
We do need to vote on the,
We got 3 bids here for mowing. We got one from the Cruise. His is $17.75 a month. We got one from Green Goblin that's $1,800 a month, and we got one from a company in East City that's $2,500 a month. My recommendation is Green Goblin's got plenty of equipment and plenty of people. They do an excellent job here in the park. Nobody likes to mow the roads real good, but that's just the way it is. That's a big job. My thing is, for $25 difference in a month, I think we should go with Green Goblin. That's my opinion, but I'm not gonna say yes or no. We're gonna let people vote and let you guys have input on what you think we should do.
I'm looking at the bids, so let me just clarify the numbers here. The way they've put the bid in, they're asked to estimate roads, park, and extra cutting like the barn and the clubhouse. So I added those numbers up, Bill, and for Cruz, his estimate is $2,000 a month. Green Goblin is $2,050 a month, and the last one is the guy out of Elizabeth City, and he's put in $2,500 a month. Is that me? The whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
There is just a $50 a month, difference in Green Goblin and Cruz, and I agree, Cruz is an unknown. Green Goblin, we know what he does, and if Bill will be kind to him and not scare him off, I think he'll, continue to do us a good job.
Who was it that was supposed to meet you at 9 o'clock and didn't get here until 45 minutes later?
That was the guy from Elizabeth City.
Yeah,
So, and that's Cruz?
no, that's, Miss,
Oh, I know, okay, sorry.
No.
All right, well, that's what I was gonna say, that was one I
And-
definitely.
And normally, we don't have any
in
of these
his
people.
hands lawn care, Kenneth Snowden.
Yeah, and normally we don't have people mowing here twice because we got the zero turn and we got the Kubota, and that's why we have them mow once a month. And Sam, myself, and James, we go out and mow in the summer in between their mowing, so that saves us another $8,000-10,000 that we don't have to pay somebody to mow.
Did we include the parking lot for the,
Yeah.
boat ramp?
Yeah,
Okay.
the parking
So
lot.
there shouldn't be any ahas.
No, it's all wrote there to include where we put the wooden, thing to keep the dirt out of the creek. That little hill that's tapered down there, that's wrote on there for them to trim that off too.
Good.
So, any other questions about this before we vote?
I recommend we approve Green Goblin.
I second. Any discussion? Any further thing from y'all?
You don't have enough to vote.
You do. They got five.
Oh, yeah, we do.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll notify
Thank you,
Ryan
Bill.
that he has to come over and see you when you have time to sign contract.
Okay. All right.
Just,
Thank you.
just for some background, I'm fine with what you voted for, but just to let you know, Cruz, I'm familiar with Cruz because they do some work for our church. They do a great job as well, so if you have problems with Green Goblin, Cruz would be a decent option, so.
That's good to
yeah.
know, yeah.
He did my landscaping.
Yeah, he did, he is, he's reasonable.
That's the kind of discussion we were hoping for before.
Well, but I mean, you know Green Goblin Sheldon, it's a known entity, so
Right.
yeah.
And they both live in the neighborhood, so.
Right, so we're supporting our neighbors, yeah.
So now you're making me think we should give Cruz a chance to
No,
see.
we've already voted,
No.
yeah. Alright, okay, Sam,
Maybe next
conservation, ecology.
All right, good morning. I want to start out good morning, thanking everybody for our good show up we had last month for cleanup. Nobody can try to put it. Nobody can
No,
say it.
it's whenever, every time you press.
Not only am I thankful for that, we got a little award from the state of North Carolina saying that we have, congratulations, your group has participated in Adopt a Highway program since April 6th of 1990. In recognition of your service to protect the environment and enhance quality of life for North Carolina, here's your distinguished 35-year award for helping keep North Carolina clean.
Yay!
Where are they gonna put the dust collector? I don't know. Next thing will be, I know it's kinda early, but 02 November is the time to turn your clocks back. I know y'all all looking forward to doing that. Another question I'd like to throw out, and we're gonna put it on our wish list, is Yard of the Month. If we wanna bring that program back or not, we're talking about changing a few things to it, but we'd like to get the public's opinion if they would like to see that come back to the Arrowhead, thing.
Any discussion on that, a yard of the month? Yeah,
I can just tell you that, we continued it, when I was on the board, we continued it, and Kathy actually had ecology, and we redid the sign, so the sign should be okay.
where
if you
is the
still got it.
sign?
That's the
That's
question,
what
where
we
the sign is.
Yeah,
We don't know where the sign's at.
No, we redid the sign, I
It is-
rebuilt and repainted the sign.
Well, we were doing another one, but we need the old one to use it as a.
Unless they got thrown out, I don't know. But what I wanted to share with you was the recipients of the Yard of the Month were always very excited. And we weren't doing anything, and what we had talked about doing was doing like a plant. That if you got Yard of the Month, we would give you like a fern or a plant that you could plant in your yard or something like that. But the people who did it were always very excited. We always took a picture of them standing beside the sign and posted it on the website so that everybody could see it. The other thing that we did was we did Christmas decorations. So we did an award for the Christmas
We
decorations.
talked about that today.
Okay.
It's in the works. You should have gotten it on the.
Yeah, and I had asked Kitty, there was some discussion about, people showing favoritism, or they always get it or whatnot, you know how people are. And Kitty's committee is all over the neighborhood, and they're anonymous. So I was asking possibly if maybe she and her group could throw out some, recommendations every month, and that way we could avoid some of that.
You can also set it up where you only can win it so often.
Yeah.
Because, we all know Our Lady on Apache, who does such an amazing job in her yard, is gonna win
Yeah.
at some point. But make it where you can only win once a year
Yeah.
or once every 6 months, and then you can't complain.
Right, that's good.
The other
So-
thing that we had talked about previously was not just Yard of the Month, because let's be honest, those that have the means can keep a really nice
Right.
yard. Do a most improved Yard of the Month,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Where people actually go out and
I
clean up.
remember we
or-
talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kitty, would your committee be interested in just throwing some names out for us?
Well, I sent a questionnaire, and I got 2 replies, and 2 yays. I asked for a nay. When did you send it? I'm everywhere, but I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I said, when you sent your last time in.
Well,
Anyway, I
resurrect-
asked for yays or nays, and I've only gotten 2 replies.
Okay.
And both of them were yays.
Okay. Why don't we resurrect it? Could we look at starting it in January?
But you don't have a yard of the month in January, though. I mean, isn't that the flower?
Well, Yard of the Month could convert into a holiday
People
award,
probably-
like we're
Well,
talking about doing a
that's
holiday
another,
award.
that's another subject that we've already,
Yeah.
that's completely different from.
There is money in the budget also for Yard of the Month, a little bit of money there to buy a plant. Yes, Kathy?
You just need to be careful with whoever is looking, get ready to put in their submission. There are a lot of houses, especially on the waterfront, that are not Arrowhead Beach properties. So you, like on Pocahontas, if you
Well,
do
see,
like
y'all know that.
117,
Your committee knows that, don't they?
117, somebody else.
But the people doing are the neighborhood watch
Yeah.
So
people.
y'all gonna be the only people that put in the recommendation?
That's what I'm
Well, you put the
asking.
recommendations
Uh-huh,
in
and
to
they'll
them.
come to us.
They make the final choice, not
Yeah.
neighborhood watch, but neighborhood watch provides.
You do want to filter.
But I
you
didn't
do-
know if Sam was gonna be having
It's
his
something we're
input
working on.
into.
We're working at.
You do
I'm
want to
just saying,
filter.
you need to be aware that not every
Right.
property in
Well, I
here
know-
belongs to
Thank you
I
for
know
bringing
most
that
of
to
the
our
ones that's not
attention.
on Arrowhead.
You do want to filter as well. It needs to be members in good standing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
There you go, members in good
Yeah.
standing, okay, thank you.
And I think having only the neighborhood watch committee, we're talking about, I feel like I should be able to say that I feel like my neighbor's yard should be nominated. So,
Well, tell Kitty,
You do that.
yeah,
because here's the problem, I'm on the neighborhood watch, I don't hit every street every time I go out there. Whatever, I mean, honestly.
we'll let,
honestly,
well, your whole group hits every street, so, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all figure that out, okay? Thank you.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all believe in folklore, but if y'all do, you better be prepared for a cold winter.
Have you seen Woolly Worm?
Willie worms all black, I think all the apple trees and everything is loaded down. The only thing I'm waiting to do is get a persimmon seed and check it.
But you have to wait till after the first frost.
Very, scientific.
The other end of North Carolina, was it supposed to be? Does that count?
Huh?
I don't know.
You cut it in half and you look at there's a little white part in there, and if it looks like a spoon, it means it's gonna snow a lot. If it looks like a knife, it says it's cold winter is gonna cut right through you. And then if it looks like a fork, that means we'll have a mild winter.
But Sam, you have to wait for the frost to hit the persimmon.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that's why I'm waiting.
Okay, thank y'all. We don't have a legal person, so, yeah, we don't have a report. Nominating group, and that is, Leslie. And I think I put a sheet on the back
Yeah, you did.
asking, for help for Leslie.
And this year, we have got to get some more people on a nominating committee. We already know for sure that Karen and Helga will be on it, but we need some new names or some names of some of. We need to get some more people added to the nominating committee, and anybody that does want to start, if you want to start participating, this is a really good committee to do it with, because it disbands the minute the election is over. We simply have to make sure that we get the people to run for it, and time is of the essence. We need to give Colleen the information on who the nominating committee members are, so that she can get the newsletter out. The newsletter has got to go out by the end of November, so that we can start to get a list of nominees, people willing to be a nominee, for the next newsletter, for the one that comes out the first week of January. I think the most important thing is, please, people that have not really wanted to join a committee, please consider just signing up for this. There's really only a couple meetings, plus then you can go ahead, count the stuff. The only time you're busy is when you get the nominations in and start to count it, make sure it's an honest election. And the other thing is, for everybody here and everybody hearing this, we are not going to nominate somebody for a position. We nominate somebody to take the place of somebody that was already elected 3 years ago. What position you take, once you're on the nominate, or once you're on the board, is whatever the board decides. So just because, for instance, Bill is supposed to run, even if Bill is elected, if he runs and is elected, he is not necessarily taped to that position. The positions are all done after the election, not before. So what you're doing is voting for people. So you need to also encourage the people that are here. 2 members of the nominating committee at least are needed. Plus, we need to remember that you have to remind people you're not voting for the president, vice president. You're not voting for a position. You're voting for a person willing to serve. So will you two of you, please sign up. It's back there. There's Karen and Helga and me, and that's it. We need to have at least.
Are you on there, Jacqueline?
Jacqueline is, well, okay, we will get together and just explain these little idiosyncrasies to you.
Okay.
Just sign up. 2 more members, 3 more members, that will be it. Short term, just do them. Yeah.
Question?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Just a question for you. I was under the understanding that the nominating committee is a year-long committee. It's not, it doesn't disband, it's always is until a new one is elected. Is that right?
Well, you can be it, but there won't be anything to do. Yes, you're the nominating committee for that year, but you don't have anything to do.
Doesn't the nominating committee stay
It can be,
place
it
through
can,
the year?
it can be stood up and then stood back down, but it must exist.
Okay.
That's the key, is it must exist for the nominating process.
Okay, but you don't have anything, we have never had a meeting after April.
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying you don't disband the committee.
The committee stays,
Okay,
it's just
okay,
only
so I
active
wrote-
during the
okay,
time.
That's the only thing I wrote down, I promise.
Good
I
job.
think you did a good job. I think you did a great job.
Any
The
other
point is
questions?
that there's not a lot of work to this committee, other than getting the information to the people that we need to get, encouraging people to run, and then count the votes. That's really all our job is.
Any other questions?
And Jack, you want
Yeah, her name's on there. Okay. We've had, financial, do we need a financial update, to add to what, Roxana said? Anything we need to know from that group?
Just a comment, and this really goes more towards the long-range planning than anything else. I know you wish I'd shut up. Everybody wants the APOA to stay. The long-range planning needs to decide, is it gonna be pay for work or volunteer for work? Because what I'm talking about is all the work that we have to do. Are you gonna pay somebody to do it, or are we gonna try to get volunteers? Because the problem has been we can't get volunteers. And the more we move to payment, the more the dues are gonna have to increase. We've done that math multiple times, and to get everything done by contractors or by labor is gonna double or triple the dues. And that's something that needs to be considered with all of the conversations that are going on, because I just don't see us getting a lot of volunteers running up to help cut the grass or go out into the river and do things and help out. So it's just something to think about.
Thank you. That's why you need to be talking to your smart neighbors who have skills that would be interested in possibly, helping us. I think I already talked about long-range planning. Neighborhood watch, Kitty, all yours, get a microphone. Come on up.
Yeah, we mean.
You can't do that. Wait till the day that you can't do that.
Well, I can't.
You're doing it.
Okay.
Okay. I was sitting here looking as my report.
Hello,
Yeah.
okay.
And if you look at your neighbor and look at it, like I mentioned before, we're all kind of at the retirement age. So that's where my report comes in, because of some incidents that's happened in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood's a community consisting largely of retirees. Along with this age group comes the need to hire outside help to aid in maintaining the property. Recent events in Arrowhead is the reason I'm addressing this issue. Missing items from homes, jobs left incomplete but completely paid for has become a problem. Police reports have been made in some cases, and in other cases the property owner dropped any hope of getting satisfaction. There'll always be those who'll take advantage of others less able to defend themselves. I'd like to think our community can come together and help one another. Recommendations are important. If someone knocks on your door asking for work, that's a no-no. Ask your neighbors for names and numbers. Call the business, and once you've talked with them, ask for property that they've worked on, for recommendations. Call those people and ask questions. Never pay up front nor part payment unless you have a contract stating this is agreeable for both parties. We have excellent business owners in our community, but there are those that not so. Do your work to protect your property and help a neighbor by sharing information when you get somebody good. So what we're saying is we have people that live in our neighborhood, we have people that come into our neighborhood that have literally, I guess the word is, rip people off. They do part the job and they leave. They might collect all the money. So the police, the sheriff's department is aware of this. And the only other awareness I think we can do is to talk to your neighbors about this. Another thing, and this goes back to retirees again. We've all, again, looking at our age group, more mailings than you ever imagined, offering all kinds of deals on Medicare. And that's all, you're gonna sign up from October, I know. There is help that will help you change, if you wanna change programs or whatnot, and this comes, you know, I went as an Arrowhead representative to a program that was put on by the state of North Carolina this past May, and there was so much useful information. And one of them, I don't know if you've heard of SHIP, S-H-I-P. If you want the address, the telephone number and the name of the person that is here in Eatonton that you call, you make an appointment, and they will sit down and go over. I'm having my prescription plan over doubled and everything. And so she will help me because I've used this program before when I first moved to North Carolina. Huh?
Is that a government?
It's North Carolina. This is North Carolina Department of Insurance Seniors Health Insurance Information Program. So like I said, I have the name of the lady. If anybody would like to call her here in Chowan County, and here is her telephone number. So I think that's everything I got. Neighborhood Watch reports 121 hours and 121 and 1/2 hours from September the 11th to October the 9th.
Thank you.
Kitty, could you please just give us the phone number so I can jot that down?
Yeah. 252-482-6585. And her name is Gail, and you have to make an appointment. And she's booking up, so.
You can also get in touch with them if there's an 800 number, if for North Carolina.
Well, this is directly, because they're gonna direct you here
Right.
to Gail.
Thank you, Kitty. Any questions for Kitty? Jacqueline, website update?
We have, for the period of September 10th through October 8th, we had a total of 475 visits to the website, of which 250 of those visits were unique visitors. That's it. That's all I have. Just want to say too, on the website, Kim, if you give me the information on the SHIP, I'll add that. Because I think we need to add these to the website.
You can take down
The contract stuff, yes. And then the other thing is that of the Facebook page, it's really in your discussion about the Facebook pages, there are two types. One is account and one is a Facebook page. The page that I manage for the board is really just a marketing page. So, marketing. In other words, it's just a page that talks about, and it's not really set up as an account. It's not an account at all. It's just like a marketing page. So basically, it's just a page to comments. I don't think there's a lot of comments on the page. It's, from what I can see, and I don't visit the page often.
So do you
it's,
have 3 Facebooks?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not separate and distinct from the other two.
Uh,
This is really just a marketing page, is all it is. And so I did set it up in the beginning at my request, so there was no comments. But then, so now it's just like people posting family stuff, pray for my family, different stuff. I don't see any kind of controversial stuff on there. And pretty much in my opening up the page to friends, joining them, whatever, the only thing that I do, if there is no picture and I see no history and nothing that in the about part, I do not give them access to the page, simply because a lot of times that's scammers. So if there is any kind of information, I kind of look at the history of the person that's requesting to be on the page. So if they have a history, maybe whatever, it's no problem. But a lot of times I get people wanting to do a page like Red Homes or whatever, Lower something, or sometimes it's actually, and I think I said this before, this is actual people that are in, from a sexual connotation. So basically, that's all I know. So basically, other than that, the page is open to everyone, but it's just a page. It's just a marketing page. It's not really, okay?
But Kathy, I actually think there's probably 4 or 5 Facebook pages out there.
with our Arrowhead
I
in
think
it?
if you go out and hit Facebook and just put Arrowhead, I think you're gonna find there's probably 4 out there at least. Yeah.
That's just what the page that we have is just a.
Yeah, that was why I was
Yeah,
wondering,
it's
I
just
just,
the
we were
one
talking
page.
about, because there's a lot of stuff that I have no idea what you all were talking about. You're saying it's on the Arrowhead Facebook page, but it's not the one that I've been on.
There's 2 of them that,
There's 4.
there's
2 major ones.
2 main ones, that we are not the admins for, and the people that are the admins for won't give them up. There's a lot of history there that I don't know about. Michelle has been given permission to monitor both of those, is my understanding. And
The one is strictly, community. That was the one that's the one that I've been on for years, and it says clearly that it's strictly a community. So that's why I was wondering,
I think you're talking about the one that Lori administers?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that one.
And those are Facebook accounts.
And that's Facebook, yes, those are web accounts.
Yeah.
And the problem is you have no ability to stop I could go home and open a new Arrowhead Beach Facebook page. You can't stop that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why my strong recommendation is just stay off of
Get rid
Facebook.
of it.
Well, there's too much drama that goes on, and it's just like, there's too many things that I read that I do get, and I know for a fact that they're not, or they're embellished
Yeah,
quite a bit, or this is one place that some of the problems that we have in here with, I'll help you do this, or I'll help you do that. It comes to our Facebook page where people will,
yeah.
that's why I said investigate, make sure of the people that you're gonna allow on your property or in your home. And not just take the word Facebook, that,
It is a problem. I think.
it definitely is, you have no idea, you can talk to the deputies.
What other thing, that Instagram page, we never talked about that, it's really, like, just another social media, and I don't know how many people in here are actually on Instagram, but I am open to any kind of, I wanna keep that page open for, lack of a better term, positive information. So if you have stuff about holidays, maybe even the shipment information I can put on there. What I normally do is I update it like on a holiday, I update it for Christmas, I update it for, but in between that, if you have some kind of inspirational saying you wanna put in it, I wanna keep it on a positive note. So, if you are open or anyone has any ideas or something they would like to contribute for the Instagram page, just send it to arrowheadjacqueline@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Office report, is there a report out of the office?
It's still running.
Yeah.
Thank you. And remind us of the dates when the office is going to be closed, so that can be disseminated.
The Friday before Thanksgiving. What is that date? Somebody, I left my phone in there. Friday before Thanksgiving is the last date we will be here officially until the Tuesday after New Year's. So I guess that would be, New Year's is,
Friday before Thanksgiving.
I think it's like the 17th.
Are we gonna be open on Tuesday?
November the 21st through
The Tuesday after,
the first of the year.
No.
That will be January what? I don't have mine.
Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
no, that's right. We're closed on Tuesday anymore, the Wednesday after New Year's.
We have a Wednesday, January the 3rd. So.
Okay, Wednesday, January
That's a
3rd.
Saturday.
January 2nd is
January
Friday.
7th.
7th is the first Wednesday after New Year's.
So closed from November the 21st through January the 7th. Is
We'll
that
be open
correct?
January 7th.
Reopen January the 7th.
And we have, each one of us has taken a week that we will go in and monitor things, make sure the mail has gotten in for Roxana.
Okay.
But it's at our leisure, it isn't gonna be any assigned office hours.
Messages, mail, keeping that.
Yeah, phone, mail,
Okay, thank you. Any questions about the office being closed? Yes, Becky?
Since this is a long period, I'm sure you will, I'm sure you will put a note on the door with an emergency contact number.
oh, right, yes, yeah. We'll have it all posted, we just wanna start getting people used to the idea.
Will there be a message on the phone?
Yes, we can make a message on the phone,
Okay.
and we'll make a message on the door,
Message on the door.
and put everything on Facebook and all that stuff where people look.
Thank you.
Will there be a phone number for someone to call?
Of course, we'll put all that down.
Okay, thank you. The newsletter committee, nobody from there is present today. The biggest thing with that, and the board still has to make a decision about copiers. Y'all may have heard us talking about copiers, and we have 3 copiers, and there's discussion ongoing about, what to do with the copiers. My recommendation at this point is to fumble through November's newsletter with the current machines that we have so that we don't make a fast decision and make a wrong decision. We haven't really, in my opinion, had enough time to make a good decision. Colleen just sent in some information about what we have and what's recommended, and so if anybody is interested in helping us make a decision on the copier, I don't think we're gonna come back with a vote until next month. So, yes, John?
Just a comment, regarding copiers and printers. Everyone needs to be aware that using those, if you print in color, it takes twice as long as it does to print in black.
Yeah.
The same thing with copying, so if you're trying to do the jobs faster, do them in black and white rather than in color.
I think we're totally not gonna do color, so people that like the colorful newsletter are just gonna have to
Color it
say,
in the
well,
budget.
you know, it's not in the budget and we're trying to be expeditious and judicious.
Personally, I just rather have a newsletter with bigger print.
Newsletter's bigger print, I think we can all agree with that. Alright, okay, are there any committees or groups I've omitted that needs to report? Thank you. Any old business? The floor was on my old business, but I think we have an answer about that. Is there any other old business out there that anybody has going on? New business. Any items of interest from you all? Any new business? Any questions?
So we're waiting for the committees. I understand we have to have somebody on legal, John, is that what we're saying, before you can start anything on the bylaws?
You can get an informal group together to talk about it, but you really can't do much officially, you know, so, you can talk about it and do notes and things like that, but it's gonna be up to the legal director to form that committee.
And
And
there's
they may form a committee that includes completely different people than what are on that group.
And because of our time frame, I mean, this is October.
Yeah.
We worked for a year before we had the bylaws ready to go for January to be, to go for the membership. So
Yeah.
I don't see,
Not this year.
where would
no.
you be?
Well, it
But
doesn't
to-
mean necessarily that it'll be done
To
by
piggyback on that though,
April.
if I understand it correctly, until we get that building person in place, we can't really move forward or do anything.
With the RCs, you can't.
Right.
Right.
But the
You can with-
bylaws.
You can with the bylaws. What was your question, Lynn?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
What was
interrupt.
your question?
Oh, no question, I was just saying that I don't know that we have an actual deadline date that we want these bylaws completed by.
Well,
Your,
then
your
you
dead, your
you
deadline
have to be-
date, I'm sorry, go ahead. Kitty.
Well, they have to be approved by the community, and you want them to go out when you have your election.
I understand that, but like you said, time constraint is really a problem right now, November, December.
It
2
can't be
months
done
that are
before
always
elections.
filled with
I think
people
you're,
going
I think
here
you're
and
probably looking at 2027
Yeah.
Right.
to be able to vote on new RCs and bylaws.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say, cause that's a long process. You
Yes.
gotta make sure everything that you do on that,
Right.
in those bylaws is by law, matches North Carolina's, you know.
Absolutely correct, you have to
Yeah.
match the state.
So,
The other thing though is there might be a couple of things, maybe we can do some things that make some changes. Seems to me we've made a couple changes before. Singular changes, not an entire revamp, and maybe something like that might be able to happen too. I guess, for example, I'll just bring up membership cards and fobs, maybe we should have something regarding that.
You
Still have to have a legal person,
you
right?
still have to, and the problem is those are in both the RCs and the bylaws.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And what's the rules and regulations, the park rules and regulations. So there's three documents where the fobs,
I actually started on that this week, and so I have something to be reviewed.
the rules and regulations.
But I will throw out to you, because I brought this up before when they did the fobs, if you go to fobs, you have to issue the fobs. You can't say, come to the office, you have to mail the fobs to every person in this page.
Where does it say
Because
that?
that is their acknowledgement of membership. It has to be given to them according, now you can rewrite the RCs to say that there is no acknowledgement of membership. Because you don't get anything when you pay your dues, you get nothing that says I'm a member unless you come up to the office and get a fob.
Membership card.
Well, what about when we put the membership cards on the, invoice? Remember, Mark did that the one year. Is, huh? Is that, in your eyes, is that sufficient?
The only problem that you have with that, you can do that, but the only problem that you've done with that is you've given people a membership card that necessarily.
Where they don't have, yeah, you
You're
gotta
right.
make sure they pay
You're
their
right.
AMAs first, yes.
Right, that's right.
Gail has her hand up.
So you get that free. We all need free.
You have to acknowledge their membership if they're not in good standing.
No,
No.
and secondly, if, and I'm just new to this game with you guys. If, I know it's in the bylaws and RCs and all that kind of stuff, but what is the point of having a card? Who's asking for your card?
so the card, the reason that you have the card.
Okay.
And this is where you can change things. The reason you have a card is for access, okay?
Access to what?
This building, the park, and the boat ramp.
This has been a public building, it's been
This is not a
publicly,
public building.
but it's been publicly,
But it's not,
rented.
right, but if it's rented, that's different, but just
Okay.
coming up to use the building, all members can come up and use this building anytime they want.
okay,
Okay? All members can use the park anytime they want. You can't take, so like if I'm a member, I can take 6 people into the park, because I own a lot. Okay, if I own multiple lots, I can take 6 people for every lot I've got. But I can't take 50 people into the park. There's nothing with the fob that would keep me from letting 50 people go into the park.
Well, there's nothing in with your card either, because nobody's checking them.
That's the problem, there's nobody
And it's
checking them, so
supposed-
that's
it's
where you need to
supposed
think
to be.
about how you
It's
rewrite
in the
this,
RC.
yeah.
And I'm seeing people let people into this park that
Correct.
don't even live here,
Correct,
and they're letting them in and just saying, well, let them enjoy it,
right.
you
Well,
know.
let's not get started on the boat ramp and
Yeah.
how many people I see bringing boats in.
But I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
something, when you look at the restrictive covenants and you look at all the different
Yeah, that
things,
was a
that's where you have to pull all that in.
Remember, that was
Okay.
stickers.
For the
Yeah,
boat
that's
ramp.
because you're right.
So is there any interest in a working group that's not called a committee, to do some preliminary stuff on the, bylaws? If there is, please sign something in the back there. Do I have something up there
Yeah, she's got-
already? I've got like a, did I say working group or something, not
Yeah,
a
Or
committee?
RC and bylaw
Yeah.
revision.
Yeah, to cross out RCs, cause it can only be bylaws. And I know Gail, and I don't mean to call you out, but Gail's my friend, and we've had some conversations. She has experience with previous property owners associations, and she does have some kind of legal, information. Anyway, so I've asked Gail to consider that, and, anyway, I don't know if Melissa would be, Michelle would be interested, but she also has some background there. And it's people that are interested in that and have knowledge, and that kind of turns them on to work on that. So we want people to be trying to do things that they have knowledge about and that they're interested in. So anyway. Yes, Karen?
In new business, I guess this is where this is, I think this clubhouse needs to be discussed. Like John said, this is our clubhouse, but it's locked all the time.
Right.
That came up in long range planning, John, how long ago when you and I were on it, that,
We were gonna put a card entry door.
yeah, because, I know we run into the cleaning issue and the this and that and the other issue, but when John said we're gonna have to raise the rent, a lot of people have said to me, okay, I pay my dues, what do I get for it? And I said, we get the use of the park, da-da. And the minute I say clubhouse, they said, well, we can't go in there. And they wonder why we even have to pay to rent it. Like, should there be one rental a year maybe we could get, or something, that's what's been brought to me. The car club meets on Tuesday nights, we don't pay for it because most of us are members. But we've said, well, when it's not rented on Sunday, why can't we have cards here? A group of us have cards here or something. I think we need to discuss this clubhouse that now we've made beautiful, and we don't use it, really.
Well, and that goes along with what John said earlier about
You got individuals, but you
Washout.
don't have the community. I think that's what you.
Right. I know there's been discussion in past about having some couches, we could just come in here and sit and talk, but it's difficult, but it's a sore point for some people.
And it goes back a lot to, the rentals and having it in a proper, condition for people to use it that have paid money to use it. So it's not just a simple issue, it's a
Right,
big
it's
issue,
not.
like everything we deal with, yeah.
When you scan in, is there anywhere it keeps a record of who scanned in?
Is there?
The fobs.
The fob?
When you use your fob, is there any record somewhere of who entered that park today?
That's a good question, I
Yes.
don't know the answer.
There
The
is.
answer is,
I'm
yes,
sure it's somewhere.
the answer is yes, because every system that you do that with records it somewhere. It's probably on one of the computers in the office.
It's
So
definitely.
even if you put a fob system out here, that you could enter here with your fob,
Correct, and what we
it'll
were
have
looking,
record.
what we were looking at doing originally with long-range planning was using the same card entry system to get into the, park as to get into here.
Right.
And that way, and you could activate the card based on payment of membership. So if they didn't pay their
Right.
membership, you disabled their card and they couldn't get in, so.
Cause my concern would be people having fob access to this building is making sure that it is being utilized correctly.
And if they've already got a fob, if you put a fob
Yeah.
system there, you're just
Well,
adding
they
one
still
more.
Yeah, cause I just wanna know who's scanning in case there's damage or something.
All right, so what happens if I didn't pay my assessment Do you pay for the fob?
Yeah.
We disable it.
So they are disabled?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fobs are disabled,
So I'm not.
as a function of payment, yes, and the office folks keep up with that.
Okay.
Cause I've had people come to my door before and ask me how to get in, and they had to
And
pay
you
the
told me
dues.
about the fence, I know.
And
It
they
is
had,
our unofficial, guardian of the, park.
If we,
So since it came up about the clubhouse, just something else I'll throw out, and somebody mentioned making sure that it's being used appropriately. I can tell you that I have seen this clubhouse used, and it's being used inappropriately. People parking behind the clubhouse, people parking over here, people with alcohol out in the park from the clubhouse. There should be no alcohol in this building unless the board has approved it. If you haven't approved it, no alcohol
I
is allowed
totally
on
agree
property.
with you on that, John. The problem is we're being told after the fact. I need to be advised during it so that we can respond with
Right,
information.
so we need to look at some way to, is there somebody,
I
neighborhood
want
watch or
to
somebody?
get the security
That would
systems
come
back operating.
Right, and you could put cameras in here to do that, yeah.
in the lease, in the lease, does it say?
It does, you
Yes.
just allowed to have alcohol.
Yeah,
And I was
there's,
gonna
all of that's
mention-
in the document that they sign when they.
And no dogs and-
Agreed to rent,
Yep.
yeah.
Can't wash your car
And I
here.
also want to see more enforcement of, you break the rules, you do not get your deposit.
Correct.
Well, I
You
think
break
that's
the
what I'm.
rules, you do not have your privileges of coming back and rent per, if it's the year.
So that's not been being, enforced in the past?
It's not, the
And who
thought
made that
process
decision?
behind, the thought process that I was given behind that was
Who
that
are you
we
giving it by?
president.
Okay, I just need to know.
excuse me,
That,
what-
that we wanted to try and mend the community, we didn't want to create more chaos, we didn't want to
But
create
the
more
community
animosity.
is paying for what they're doing is what's making
I'm
the
only giving you
community
what was
upset.
explained to me as why I couldn't send, violation letters, I couldn't do this or that. But in my opinion, I'd really like to see that we do take those things seriously, because if you don't, it's free for all, so.
Well, it's a new day. It's a new
Lynn,
day.
excuse me,
I do understand.
I want to say this.
I do
Lynn.
understand that we want to, create unity, I get that, I'm
But you
willing
have
to
to
do
follow
that,
rules.
but it's just not working,
Lynn,
I'll be honest with you, I have never rented a facility that allowed you to have alcohol that did not charge an alcohol surcharge. So you had to pay extra to have alcohol in the facility,
so
and
they
it
say
had to
they
be
didn't have
inspected.
alcohol.
Meaning that during your event, somebody was either there at the beginning or there at the end. Because if you're here, if they're renting at 3 o'clock and you're here at 2:59, and they're closing at 5, and I know we do a 24-hour rental or whatever, I get it, because I've rented, but I'm just saying that there's no reason why we should not be allowed, if we're renting out this facility, especially if we're gonna go public with it, that we're allowed to say, hey, there will be somebody there to let you in and give you the keys, they will also be there when you're ready to close, because at that point, you may be able to come in and see that something has happened that was against the rules, that will allow you to be like, okay, you don't get the clubhouse again.
Meet with the person who signed the contract
And everybody's
prior and
forgetting,
after.
right now, Lynn is the person,
Yes, there's-
her every weekend, I wouldn't do it, I said that time and time again. I would not spend my weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays taking care of this building, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And
She
it
does an
takes
awesome job, too.
volunteers if you've got people to come in here and it's more volunteers. One person should not have the responsibility of doing this.
And
Well,
that
if we're
position
not-
is going to be available, very soon. Yeah, when they
If-
retire.
And that's,
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
not making any money, it's a wash, why are we doing it? Cause we still, as Kitty has pointed out, we still have power, we still have, heating and air, all that kind of stuff.
We're losing money, not.
Yeah, we're losing money,
the
just that,
community is paying for these
Yeah,
rentals,
yeah.
not the
the
people that are in
community's
the
paying
building.
for it. And that we're being abused.
Well, there needs to be a clubhouse committee, or I don't know, we need, that discussion needs to
Leslie
be
had
had.
a question, I think.
Yeah, Leslie, where'd she go?
I just wanted to point out that one of the things that seems to be wrong is that the rules are half the time to us, being on a card, in the card group, we don't know exactly what Lynn is looking for, and I think if everybody in the community has, or anybody in the community has access to the clubhouse, we should have some rules posted here, not on a sheet of paper somebody's gonna leave at home. We should have a prominent place where the normal things that you don't think of, the normal rules are posted, like where,
Sign in the kitchen.
but
Yeah, but how many people go in the kitchen?
how
that
many
are here?
people don't go in the kitchen?
Right.
They need to have it where it can be seen when people come in.
The one that wants to break and breaks many.
And I think that we should all have that, because we would not do, but just not a great big lot of words, just general maintenance rules, like this is how high that you should have the thermostat when you leave. This is the lights you need to make sure are off. These are the trash cans you have to remember to look at. Just your basic rules for the, not for the person who's rented it, for all the people that come in that are not that person.
Like an Airbnb does, they
We
put
should
their
be
rules
able to
up.
have that done, if you help us with that, yeah.
It can also help you with liability.
And not something that can just carry around, something that's actually put on the wall somewhere big enough for people to see.
So like, for example, alcohol in the park, because if, let's just say that we rented this place out, somebody takes alcohol in the park, somebody gets access to alcohol who shouldn't have alcohol, and then comes back and says, I'm holding this community responsible.
Yeah.
So by posting rules on doors, post rules on doors that says, this is what's allowed, even if they don't follow them, because I agree with you, people read rules and go, whatever, but if they're there, you can then point out, those rules are there, you broke them, and we are not responsible for you breaking the rules.
And it should be promised.
So they need to be
Very
posted,
common.
thank you, I agree. Yes, Kathy?
Two things. I can tell you that the Legion just went up on the rental of their thing. We are the cheapest, the reason we get quite a few is we are the cheapest
By
place
far.
to rent,
Yeah.
by far.
What is the Legion?
They are now $1,300 for a non-member. And it ain't a whole lot cheaper if you are a member. Okay,
Now,
I realize they're not
their
bigger.
building is 4 times bigger than this, but still, yeah.
Excuse me.
We did
They are bigger, and yet they have a bigger kitchen. But I'm just saying, it's
Okay.
by far.
Yeah.
So, not only are you getting the desirables, but sometimes our rate gets us some of the non-desirables.
Right.
To address what you just said, there used to be signs, especially on the gatehouse over there, that said, they went all the way down each side of the door. No dogs, no swimming without a lifeguard, no alcohol, blah, blah, blah. And it was deemed that we were being too old-fashioned, and they took them down. So there was a reason why there were rules. So just like you said, and I don't mean to get snippy, but I really am tired of people going, well, there needs to be, there was, and then we got told we were old-fashioned.
That doesn't make it right,
Right.
and I'll be honest with you, I'm an insurance person, you're opening yourself to all sorts of
Absolutely.
liability.
That's
when
what I was
you do
just
not
gonna
post
say.
it.
Well, I
It's
agree
gonna
with you,
increase our
Stephanie.
liability
We need
insurance if
those
we're not
rules
following
back.
our own rules.
But we need, people need to understand, it's not we're being old-fashioned, we're not being mean,
Anything else?
they're to protect us.
Well, then,
Yeah.
here's the thing, a lot of, if we bend our rules, or if we bend whatever, for every single person that has a problem with something, that's why we have the Facebook drama, that's why we don't have people showing up, it all comes back to, sometimes too much opinion is too much opinion.
And you need structure.
And bring your butt to the meetings if you have an opinion. And then get it out there so everyone can go, oh, this is good, because sometimes you don't think about the other side of that. And telling people, oh, we're gonna take those down because we're being mean, I'm sorry, no. We pay liability insurance for this place, this is protecting our liability.
It's our property.
It's our property.
I do want to address, Kathy, as far as, your rental rates, because that is a really very good point. And that we did discuss that at the beginning of this season, as far as what our rental rates were gonna be. We knew we were undergoing renovations, it was me, I take accountability for this. I said, no, we should not raise the rates for our members, because we're undergoing renovations. We had dust, we had smells of epoxy, it was just, I did not feel it was fair to raise rates on members at that time. We did raise rates for the non-members, it's $200 now. But when I compare $200 $1,200 to $1,300, I do understand your point.
Well-
I do want you to know, I also have researched various venues throughout this area and called and got numbers and costs and prices and what did they do for you and what did. This year was all really dedicated to doing some of the long-range planning and the beautification of the clubhouse and the park and the playground, the office. Next year, I'm hoping that we focus on something else just as great and big.
Oh, I wasn't trying to lay blame. If I came across that way, I apologize. I
I'm
was
not
just
saying
making
that.
a comment.
So one thing
I'm
is,
simply saying that I'm aware, I agree with you, and we did do that research, and that's where we're at.
so one thing to keep in mind when we talk about rentals of this building, it's not this building, okay?
Say again?
It's not this building. We all say we're gonna rent the clubhouse. When you rent the clubhouse, we allow access to the beach. They have rented access to the entire property,
Right.
right? And there's no,
Apparently they are, but in my opinion, when I read that, to
But-
me, you're renting the clubhouse.
I get it, but you have
We
no-
give you a courtesy of using our facilities.
correct, but I'm saying, nobody else,
Renting
when they rent a building, like at the American Legion, when you rent a building, you don't get access to the grounds. You have that building. At the American Legion, you don't get access to the kitchen.
Who monitors that for y'all, John?
The American Legion sends somebody out when they come out, to make sure that they're staying in the building, and if they have alcohol, the American Legion has to have a legionnaire there with the alcohol, and the alcohol is a big issue, by the way. If they say, I'm not gonna have alcohol, and they bring alcohol in here, we're liable.
Yep.
They're not liable, we're liable,
Yeah.
because we allowed alcohol in here. If they sign and say, yes, I'm gonna have alcohol, and they sign the agreement for the alcohol, it says, no children. Now they're liable. Because they said, we're gonna have alcohol, and we will not have children in presence. If they have children, it's on them at that point. So you have to look at the liabilities associated with things and figure out how you can enforce it. It's really difficult to enforce, but I can tell you, 2 years ago, I came in and the clubhouse was gonna be rented, and there were probably 12 stacks of beer in here. Okay? And it was like, okay, they're gonna have kids in here, and they're consuming beer. It's like, they had not signed up to get use of, and that was before you, Lynn, I believe, but they had not even signed to have alcohol in the clubhouse. And that group took beer out in the park. Beer is not allowed in the park, period. You can't get agreement for that. Correct. You cannot get an agreement that allows, because children are out.
People bring booze in Yetis that everybody carries
And
around.
that's illegal.
Well, I know it's illegal, but they do it.
Yep.
But
I know for a fact they do it in the park.
can't control everything.
No.
And I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna make somebody in this room mad, but you know what? If I'm supposed to voice my opinion, and that's one of the
That's why we're
reasons
sitting
I
here, so
don't
y'all
come
can
to
be
these
heard.
meetings anymore, is because one, I have to watch out for him, cause he will speak his opinion, but he's worked awfully hard. And there are people in here who go, yeah, he runs his mouth, yeah, he's been in business for 39 years, and they are a backstabber. I don't appreciate that. John and I don't backstab. I got something to say, I'm gonna say it to your face. Ask that one right there, because I have said something to her face in my driveway before, have I not, Karen? I don't talk behind your back. Not that I'm not gonna say it to your face. But when John made that comment to the office, we were told to mind our own damn business. I'm done if that's how you're gonna treat me.
What comment?
And
That the
was
alcohol was
before
here.
you, it was before you.
Yeah.
Because there is no alcohol in here, it's in your, at that time, there was no, are you going to, or are you not? It was, none was allowed. So,
Well, that's history, and
Yep.
we're
I know, but
trying
I'm
to
just
move
saying,
forward.
if you kind of wanna know some background of why some of us don't come to the meetings more often, you kind of get tired of going, these are the rules, and they're here for a reason, to protect us.
Yeah.
Us, we
The
pay
property
the
owners.
insurance.
Yeah.
And then you get told, mind your own business, or, you know, they want to stab you in the back when you walk out the door? No, I like my back, thank you very much.
There's no backstabbers up here, I don't think.
And I apologize to the board and to everybody here, because sometimes when I talk very authoritatively. And that's because of what I did in business. It was the positions I held that I had to do that. And I don't know everything. But if I'm looking for something, I do go out and do the research. So you can't look at one thing, you have to do multiple pieces of research, because with the internet now, you'll get a, yes, this is allowed, no, this isn't allowed, you'll go to jail, you'll be a hero, and it's like, okay, you gotta figure it out, and sometimes the chickens thing, okay? So I'll give you an example. I went out and researched chickens. Chickens are not approved, okay? Chickens are probably going to be approved. The state Supreme Court is making the decision on the
They
chicken.
haven't got it.
Yeah, they still have not, they've heard the case, they were gonna make a ruling back in July. They still have not made a ruling, okay? The odds are they're going to approve chickens, and the HOAs cannot restrict chickens because they're gonna be considered pets. But if somebody says it's already the law, they can have chickens, according to the state, not yet, okay? But the odds are it will. So to pass a rule saying no chickens, you're probably cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Well, I think one thing that this has proven, we've had a good discussion here about the clubhouse. And I do think maybe we need a group to get together, because there's a lot of, I don't know why we have to have alcohol here, because if they wanted some, they could go to one of the places that allows it. I guess there's venues that allow it, and pay more and have the alcohol. I know it'll probably cut off some weddings, but again, that's a problem with, if kids can't be in here.
Well, it's not just kids in here, and this is Neighborhood Watch folks. When those posts came down out there, I realized the posts in those roads are not gonna stop a car from going through there. But it did stop cars from parking back, bumper to bumper around the curve here. Kids playing in the park, if you lose a child and they run in between the cars and the car's backing up, or they run out and the car's coming, it's such a scary situation. And I have, how many times, the last time, Lynn came down and took pictures, because I have to get my permission. This board is the ones that have to make the changes. We can't make the changes as far as that goes. Lynn took pictures the last time, and since then, I've not, because I've reported it, I don't know how many times. But I have been here and shocked too, at the first time I've ever been in this building and seen alcohol. We were here at an event. There were kids here, the people were outside this door, they were out that door and everything, so, and I'm sitting there thinking, liability insurance, what is this stuff? Because our paper clearly states there's not supposed to be children in here, just like evidently the Legion has that. But our papers also say if you have alcohol, you can't have under 18 years of age. And so are we breaking the law?
That's what I'm saying, it's very, very important that if someone is in the park, they see this, they have to know. I don't know.
That's because we
And
have
I have to be
volunteers.
able
Yeah,
to
that's the
prove
problem.
it. I can't just go on somebody's hearsay.
Yeah.
So that's,
You gotta be able to walk in and see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same way when people talk about speeding in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's the deputies will tell you the same thing, they've gotta catch them in order to give them a ticket, so.
Right.
Well, what's going on with the cameras? We spent all this money to put all these cameras here, there, and everywhere, and they're not being watched.
I'm not sure why they were disconnected or.
They're
not.
disconnected?
I don't know if they're
Yeah.
disconnected or just
They
not
don't.
being used. I
Well,
don't know.
the system's on in there, the thing, nobody knows how to use
It's
it.
the speed.
I question that.
He would go in there, that's how we found the guy showering and the kids screaming.
Who's responsible for the camera installation?
What's going on?
Was it Steve Brown
Party.
that got that going? Yeah.
Steve Brown got it going, and he won't look back at it.
So,
Would
so
you be
is,
able to help us?
so is there a recorder back
Yes,
here?
there's still a system back in the
There's-
closet.
there's a
They're all
recorder-
in the office.
No, I think there's a
Is there one
recorder,
back there?
I think there's one back here for these
Yeah,
cameras.
they're on and recording.
And it's recording everything.
Does Steve have access to it?
And Steve,
Probably not.
Steve Brown does not recall how to, do these operations, et cetera.
He does.
Well, last I heard, Steve Brown was still able to access, he used to
I just
sit
texted
in
him.
Chesapeake.
Yeah,
I just
And
texted
tell
him
us.
and asked him.
yeah.
I've already talked to him, Steph. He
Okay.
doesn't have that.
I had gone here last year.
Suggested that maybe we can try, Mr. Parker, who apparently did do the installation.
So we came up and did the installations here. The recorder and the Wi-Fi is back in that room, okay? somebody from the board is probably gonna have to get in touch with the company and see how you reset to get back in. It's been cut off, okay? The wires are still coming down to it, so it's still accessible. So all of these feed back here. The ones over in the park and in the office feed the one over there in the office. And I can tell you, Steve and I basically gave up all of our access when we resigned. So, yeah. So you would probably need to ask board members after us, you know, who used it.
Who would that be, Paula and the group with her?
Probably.
Did you have to pay to have monitors or?
No.
So this was just a personal, like a personal
So-
neighborhood one?
No
Yeah, so
monthly
this-
subscription,
No,
okay.
it's a DVR that it records onto and it overwrites itself once it, but it'll go like, I think it's like 30 days, okay? And the ones in the park are motion, so they don't record all the time. So they're motion sensitive, so.
So, in terms of people, in terms of clarifying what you rent when you rent the clubhouse, and what you're allowed to do. So we know you know having alcohol in the park. So if you have alcohol in this building, what I've seen, and I only saw it one time, and I didn't report it, because by the time I would have reported it, they were loading up to go. But there are people loading stuff up to leave here, and there are probably 10 kids on playground equipment in the dark. And by the time I realized what I was seeing, because I was going by on my golf cart over here, they were loading up and leaving. And I was like, by the time I say anything, we're gonna get over there, they're not gonna be there. And sure enough, they were gone 20 minutes later. But I mean, technically that was not allowed. So, I mean, we can
What
always
was it
put
allowed?
signs.
I don't understand what you're saying.
People being in the park
In
after
the
dark.
park after sunset.
Mm-hmm.
But what if, oh, so if you have a wedding here, you have to all come inside when it gets dark?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If we establish,
Yes.
but I mean, technically, we're
Yes,
not supposed to be in the park after dark.
that's
So
correct.
if you establish a border that's like, this, when you rent this, this is the road. And during the daytime, you have access to the park, you can use the park facilities, because people are gonna rent them here to be able to go out and have their kids play and stuff. But it should be signs, no alcohol beyond this point, at every bar that has an outside area. No children, or no one in the park after sunset. And I mean, we have those, so I think signage is appropriate.
Signage needs to go on
Mm-hmm.
short-term plan.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
But the contract, you do need to review the contracts, because the contracts actually have all that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't,
Okay.
yeah, but not everybody signed the contract, so the guests need to have something that they can
Correct.
see.
Correct.
Exactly.
Well, a past president did not want us to hurt anybody's feelings.
You hurt my feelings.
Well, I hurt your feelings personally, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
You didn't,
No.
I'm kidding.
But she didn't want signage. She didn't want something in here.
Well, that's
Like
history,
you say,
that's the
Yeah,
past.
that's the
But
past.
we need, I think you need it, because I don't think you go in anywhere that you rent, that you don't
I
see
think we're all
rules.
in agreement that we need it. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anybody in this room that would disagree that we don't need to do a better job with
Look where
signage
it
and
is.
enforcement.
So,
Look where everyone gets a
I'm
trophy
getting
this
ready to head out, and I wanna thank this board for allowing this conversation to take place. I ask you to continue to be transparent, continue to be open to hearing, but not just hearing, but listen and
Yes.
act on what the community says. And while she's gone, I wanna particularly thank the treasurer, because I think the treasurer was under duress not to be transparent in the past, and I think she's being transparent now, and I think it's opening up a whole lot of concerns, but that's what needs to happen. We need to know what's happened in the past, so that going forward, we can address it and continue to move forward. We don't need to try to penalize anybody for the past, or figure out who did what. Just continue to move forward with positive things. But I wanted to thank this board, because prior boards have said, 10 o'clock, we're done, leave.
Well, and that's what, I mean, we got Grumbling over here, my good buddy here, and, you know, we need to sit here as long as somebody has something to say, and people that need to leave can leave, but I do believe that's important. You know, we just need to set aside Saturday morning, one time a month, to listen, and to make a list of things that we can do.
So the other recommendation I would make, Kathy, is hold a town hall that is not board operated. okay?
And that'll shorten your board meetings.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have a town hall meeting,
A lot of these conversations will happen there, and
If it's,
then you
who
can bring them.
would be glad to do that? Who would be glad to help head up a board, town hall?
We had two town halls, and we did not get anybody at the second one, and it was very informal. We didn't set up here as board members at all, we were just present as
Right.
residents. And we had, what, 10 people maybe the first time,
Yeah.
5, I don't even remember.
I think,
A town hall that we had here, there was you, there was Mark and all.
I think if you have a town hall and issues come up, and in the Saturday meeting, the board talks about some of those issues that came out of the town hall and acknowledges they came out of the town hall, it may encourage people to come to the town halls in the future, because if you're being heard, you'll talk. If you're not being heard, you're just gonna disappear.
I mean, I
And
really.
I mean,
that's
Becky
it.
has been wanting to
Before you go-
speak, yeah.
Before you go, I'd just like to say thank you to you. You are so knowledgeable, and you bring it up. You're a little long-winded, yeah, but I appreciate it very much, because you tell me things that I didn't know. And I'd ask you to just keep that up. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
I would agree.
I won't go away as long as I'm here, but there are things I won't continue to fight for, because it has hurt me personally, and it's hurt my relationship at home, and it's damaged some relationships with neighbors as well.
I've been on that side.
Yep, so,
The second thing I want to say is,
John,
always wanted to say this. I see no reason why we have to have
before you take a
alcohol with all meetings. There are many places out there that permit to have their alcohol. I'm in favor of alcohol.
Okay, alright, thank you for that input.
I just wondered, this is something, I've been a community owner or property owner since 2013. Not until you all came in have I ever, and I have asked, I was told, oh, we can't give a report out if the board hasn't approved it before.
Oh, you
I
talking
said,
about the
"Well, put
financial, the
draft
monthly
or something."
financial update?
Never, ever have we gotten, you've been here long enough, do you remember receiving? It's your treasurer's report.
Monthly financial, just so you know what.
detailed report, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had any before.
So this is one thing that makes your transparency, when you say you're trying,
Yes.
you know, with the treasurer,
It
it
does.
makes it think that you are trying to be transparent about.
Yeah.
I have not been to a lot of these meetings, but I will just say this, the first board meeting I went to, that I felt like I wasn't being shut down if I said something that somebody on the board didn't agree with. So thank you. And I will be at I completely forgot about today's meeting, thank you, Becky. But I will be here, and I will serve. I put my name down.
And I wanna close, by just kind of pulling it together and again saying, I know there was, the town meetings were brought up. All of our time is valuable. I still work, all of our time is valuable, and we're all volunteers. So my continued recommendation, Saturday morning is not always the best time for people. We have a monthly Wednesday meeting before this meeting where everybody is welcome. It starts at 6 o'clock. It's here in the clubhouse the Wednesday before the Saturday meeting. And rather than having lots of extra meetings, I continue to encourage people to come to those meetings. You're gonna hear everything that we're working on, planning on, making decisions on, that we would end up voting on today. So I'm not particularly in favor of extra meetings if I have to be involved, but I'm always gonna be here on the Wednesday planning meeting. And so I'm putting it out there on the, whatever that thing is, for y'all to come. It's, it's open to everybody and everything is laid out. You have opportunity to talk to all these people. So that's my encouragement, as well as to say, please continue to, talk to us. Please continue to talk to your neighbors. If you've got smart, open-minded, good-thinking people, to consider coming on, and helping us. I'm hoping Dawn, I've made my list of my neighbor Bill and also Gail. I mean, those are three people that have sort of self-identified that would
What?
I mean, there was, you know, you had more people than you could use for an event, when we did cleanups and, you know, the stuff in the water and the beach and.
So who are some of those people? Are there some of those people still?
I mean,
We're aged out. I know, where are the young people?
Well, I think a lot of the drama is what's stopping people because they don't want to be. I can tell you my husband's like, I'm not getting involved in that.
That's the whole reason I didn't.
I know, because you and I chatted about that one time, but I'm telling you, I think that, I don't know, I just have this sense of community coming back, even on the sites. And I think with the planning committee, just a suggestion, maybe call it a planning/town hall. Are you and announce it like the week before, and then
Okay,
make a
we're
reminder
talking
that
about
day. Yeah,
Wednesday
you've been
meetings.
great
Yeah.
about putting stuff out there lately.
Yeah.
And like all the leaks and stuff, that was amazing. And being able to celebrate, like there was a comment about, people complaining about the paving, not recognizing it was paved. Well, I wasn't going that way anymore, you know, and so immediately I went and looked and went, oh my gosh, yeah, they're paved and it looks great, but I wasn't going that way anymore, right? And I was the one who brought that up to the board.
Okay.
You know, so to have that said, and I was like, okay, I could go in on them, or I can get out there and go look and be like, yep, it got done and that's amazing. And because having that follow-up and using Facebook for a positive thing for a change,
Yeah.
you know, so that it's, and again, not reacting to anything that's negative,
Yeah.
just like, if you're unhappy, come to the board meeting, that's your response. If you're unhappy, come to the board
That's a
meeting.
great idea. I don't think we can shut Facebook down. It's
But you know, it's like a bully. You know, you tell your kids, if you don't pay attention to them and you don't react, they'll leave you alone. And they make it worse before they leave you alone, but they will leave you alone. And if we do things like that with people on Facebook, it's eventually gonna happen. It's like, oh, you go ahead and post it and be unhappy, or you can go do something about it.
Yes, Jacqueline.
Just real quick, the only, Facebook page that is controlled by the board is the page I do. So you can shut that down whenever you get ready. That's one. Two, I would like to, I've been listening since I moved in here, and I've come to several meetings. I would like for us to come together in a positive and unified light. And I think even for those people that left, regardless of the circumstances in which they left, I think we have to also say thank you to them.
Yeah.
Because at some point they gave their time and effort.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of how it ended up, they gave their time and effort. I think we gotta do that.
I agree.
There's so much going on in the world that is so divisive. At some point, we as a people must come together.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all.
Thank you. Yeah. Dawn?
I think when these meetings last 2.5 hours, somebody should bring the donuts.
Yeah. They're back there. Donuts are back there.
He used to bring them all the time.
Okay, they're back there. Please have some donuts. Compliments of Leslie and
Hurry up and get 'em.
Karen, I think. All right, we're gonna close.
All this time, Dawn, you could have eaten them all.
We're gonna
I mean,
close.
I was out there eating them all.
Okay, I'm gonna pray. We're gonna pray over those donuts.
I've been thinking of those.
Let us pray and close the meeting. Dear Lord,
somebody who
thank you so much for our neighbors who showed up today. Thank you for the positive comments, Lord. Thank you for the vibes. We just ask your support for this current board. We ask that you pull at some strings for some folks out there in the community who have so much to offer, who we would welcome into this fold to help us as we try to keep our association alive and to keep our neighborhood as wonderful as it is and to try to make it better. Lord, bless us all as we head into the weekend and the week and keep us in your loving care. Amen.
Thank you, guys. Good job.
Thank y'all for
Thank
coming.
you, guys.
Make sure everybody signed in.
I think I need something like this.
But you know, it's good that they're doing it. Unfortunately, we died like
Blueberry, cherry, blueberry, donuts.
What do you like, Michelle? She said you were coming down.
And so, I'm a firm believer that the Lord has a plan. When his plan was to hear us.
That's right, I think so too. Yeah, it is. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was in the same thing.
We figured it was all this party,
Oh, that's the way I thought. My headset, my headset.
stepped in and then they said they
Everything
shut
shuts
down.
down. Everything shuts down. Well, just hang in there. We have started
Michelle
actually.
and Chris have done a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I think,
I didn't know if she made enough copies for everyone. Okay.
How do you turn this thing off?